coffee shop is a great example of culture at work. It starts with something natural, a coffee bean, and then people start doing things to that bean. They pick it, they roast it, they grind it, they brew it. My favorite coffee shop in my part of the world is a place called the Griffin Cafe. It was started by a young Christian guy just out of college who realized there was this beautiful building in Wayne, Pennsylvania that needed a coffee shop. And he created this little space that serves great coffee, great salads and sandwiches. And it's now this whole cultural world of its own where friends meet and teenagers come after school and moms get together during the day. It's this wonderful, hospitable, welcoming environment. I've become really convinced that the only way to change culture is to make more culture. The only way it changes, has ever changed, is when someone cares enough about a particular part of culture to introduce a new cultural good into that sphere or scale of culture. So it's not enough to come up with really excellent critiques, and it's not enough just to copy or imitate. But if you actually want culture to change, the way human cultures change is people introduce new goods into them. Human beings are made to be culture makers, not just culture critiquers or culture consumers. So I wrote this book to try to give us a new vocabulary, a new way of talking about what we're doing in the world, and to link culture with the purposes of God as disclosed in Scripture. I suppose we could ask why Christians should care about this topic. Shouldn't we, write books and read books mostly about sort of spiritual topics? The first is it affects us. Culture affects us. And I think we're more and more aware of this, that we live embedded in a culture that is shaping our hopes, it's shaping our fears, our dreams. The second thing, of course, is that culture is affecting our neighbor. And if we love our neighbor, we have to care about the culture that they're living in. The third reason that I think we've thought least about why we might care about culture is that it might be that actually God cares deeply about culture. So I direct the Christian Vision Project at Christianity Today, and our goal is to ask the right big questions about culture, mission, and the gospel. And a lot of those experiences, just the people that I get to work with, the authors and I get to edit, and the stories I get to tell, have informed the way I approach this book, because it's really a book for, in a way, for the whole church and all the different places where we are, all the very particular cultural settings where we are. There are people who are called to be in each of those places doing really creative things. The main thing that I hope readers take away from culture making is a sense of calling to be a culture maker. This is not a book about some other group of people who do the culture making while the rest of us watch and admire them. It's about what you can do. You can do something. You can cultivate something. You can create something that no one else in the world can cultivate and create. And that's your calling.